Hi and welcome to my maths class. Today we are doing a revision exercise of all grade 10 financial maths. Our financial maths is basically based around two formulas. We have simple interest, which is A is equal to P 1 plus I n, and compound interest, which is A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the power of n. Now, simple interest is used in hire purchase, and compound interest is used in inflation. When they give it to you in the exams, they're not going to say use the compound interest formula. They're going to say calculate the inflation, and you must immediately know they are talking of compound interest. Or they'll say calculate the hire purchase value, and then you must know I'm talking of simple interest. Let's do a few basic examples. 8,000 Rand invested for 4 years at a simple interest rate of 12% per annum, or 8,000 Rand invested for 4 years at a compound interest rate of 10% per annum. Now, when you are doing simple interest or compound interest, the first thing you need to do is write down your paying. Now we know our P is 8,000. We don't know A. If we are doing the first one, then we know that our interest is 12% and our N is 4 years. We know it's simple interest, so the formula is A is equal to P into 1 plus I n. Substitute what you have. You then can use your calculator, which will give us 11,840 Rand. Now let's calculate the compound interest. Again, you still use your paying. We fill in our information. Now be careful, it is not the same as your simple interest. The interest rate now is 10%. So we have our interest of 10%, and we are also investing it for 4 years. Then you substitute into your formula. Be careful, make sure that you are using the correct formula. Which gives us 11,712 Rand, 8. So which investment would be better? The best investment would be simple interest investment. Not all questions end up with simple interest. Sometimes you'll do it and you'll see that the compound interest is better, depending on the interest rate and for how long they are investing. Let us look at the following example. Sally buys a TV for 18,000 Rand. She has to give a deposit of 15%. Calculate the deposit. Now, if she has 15%, she has to give 15% of the total, which means it's 15 over 100 times 18,000, which is equal to 2,700. Now that is her deposit. She has to pay back the balance. Now the balance is important because she's not going to take a loan for 18,000 Rand. Now she's going to take a loan on what specifically? 18,000 minus 2,700, which is equal to 15,300. That is what she's going to take a loan on, the balance. She agrees to pay it back at 16% per annum over 3 years. What is her monthly payment? So first we need to calculate how much is she going to pay back. So we start by writing down our paying. Now our P is 15,300 because your P is how much you are loaning, not how much the TV cost. Our I is 16% and our N is 3 years. Which formula are we going to use? We know it's a hire purchase, which means it's a simple interest formula. We substitute what we have. Then you use your calculator, giving you how much she is going to have to pay back. But she is making monthly payments. Now in 3 years, how many months are there? There are 36 months, which means you're going to take the amount that she has to pay back and you're going to divide it by 36, giving you a monthly payment of 616 Rand, 25. Now these questions don't always stop there. They like to add to it. Like, let's say she has to pay a monthly insurance of 23 Rand 75 cents. How much is her monthly payment now? So what they're saying is that on the loan she is already paying 616 Rand 25 cents. But she's going to pay a little extra now. So she's going to pay 616 Rand 25 cents, which is her installment based on her interest and her loan. And then she's going to take out another 23 Rand 75. So she has to pay in another 23 Rand 75, which gives us a total of 640 Rand. So how much is she paying back every month now? 640 Rand. When they're doing a hire purchase question, you must do it step by step and answer each question as it comes. If you rush, you usually do silly things like pupils start putting this 18,000 Rand in place of the 15,300. They start doing careless things. Pupils start putting 12 instead of 3. They start dividing by the wrong numbers. So read your question carefully and you will be fine. They tell you a loaf of bread cost 10 Rand 20 at the end of 2015. How much will the bread cost at the end of 2014 if the inflation rate is 7%? Now we're going to start with our pain. When they are giving us 10 Rand 20, it is what is the value of the bread right now. To calculate the number of years, we know we are in 2015, we have to get to 2040, which means we have to subtract, which gives us 25 years. So our N is 25. Our I is 7%. Once we got our pain written down and we filled in the information, we need to go to the correct formula. We know it is compound interest because it is inflation. Then you simply press it into your calculator and you'll have the cost of the bread in 25 years will be 55 Rand and 36 cents. Now let's change the question slightly. Again, they are asking how much was the bread 10 years ago. Now if you write down your pain, this is where the trick comes in. 10 years ago was our P. Now is our A, which means they are actually giving us our A. Because remember, 10 years ago, that means we are trying to calculate What was it then? What was it 10 years ago, which is our P. Our A is what is now, but you must remember A, you are looking at it as a future. So that's how come P and A have slightly changed now. P is always the first value and A is always the final value. So when I'm talking of the past, then the P is what was and A is the present. So you're looking at a date basically on a line, and the P is always the first one and A is always the second one. So when I'm saying 10 years ago, then that answer would be my P because it's the first value, and A would be my second value. My I would still be 7%, and my N would be 10. Again, we're using the compound interest formula. You substitute what you have. Now, if you look at your algebra, 1 plus 7 over 100 to the power of 10. I'll have 1020 is equal to P 1,96715. Look at what I did. Even though standardly your exam paper will say round off to 2 decimal places, when you're doing financial maths, you don't round off at an early time. So you have to keep at least 5 spaces. Only at the end on your final answer do you round off. Now I'm going to divide. So the cost of bread 10 years ago was 5 Rand 19. It says 3 people from South Africa pay $75 for a meal in America. Calculate how much it costs in rands if the exchange rate is 8 Rand 40 to $1. Now the trick for exchange rate is to remember that we work with same under same. So if I have $1 and it's equal to 8 Rand 40 in rands, then the amount I'm working with is $75. $75 is going to go under the $1. And I don't know how many rands. Then we put an equal to sign and we do cross multiplication. So I have X is equal to 8 Rand 40 times 75. X is equal to 630. So the cost of the meal was 630 Rand. Now let's try a different example. Gold is trading at 349.50 per gram. Calculate the value in dollars. Now we know the ratio is $1 is equal to 8 Rand 40. I have rands. So under R, I'm going to put 349,50, and under dollar, I'm going to put X. Then I'm going to make it equal, and I'm going to cross multiply. So I've got 8 Rand 40. X is equal to 349 Rand 50. Divide by 8 Rand 40. Divide by 8 Rand 40. And I have X is equal to $41.61. So the method is the same under same. You keep the dollars under one, you keep the rands under one. Then you're doing cross multiplication. Thank you for watching.